Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been indicted for the fourth time on criminal charges, this time for conspiracy to commit forgery in the state of Georgia. The indictment, announced on Monday by the Fulton County District Attorney, alleges that Trump and his associates attempted to falsify the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia by pressuring state officials to overturn Joe Biden's victory. According to the indictment, Trump and his co-conspirators made multiple phone calls and sent letters to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Governor Brian Kemp, and other election officials, asking them to find enough votes to reverse Biden's win. The indictment also claims that Trump and his allies tried to interfere with the certification of the election results and the recount process, and threatened to retaliate against those who refused to comply with their demands. The indictment charges Trump with one count of conspiracy to commit forgery, a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. The other co-conspirators named in the indictment include Trump's former chief of staff Mark Meadows, his personal lawyer Rudy Giuliani, and several Republican lawmakers and activists from Georgia. This is not the first time that Trump has faced legal trouble in Georgia. In February, he was indicted by a grand jury for criminal solicitation of election fraud, a misdemeanor that carries a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail and a $1,000 fine. In March, he was indicted by another grand jury for violating the state's Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act, a felony that could result in up to 20 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. In April, he was indicted by a third grand jury for obstruction of justice, another felony that carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and has called the investigations against him a witch hunt orchestrated by his political enemies. He has also filed lawsuits to challenge the validity of the indictments and to block the release of evidence related to his actions in Georgia. His lawyers have argued that he is immune from prosecution as a former president and that his communications with state officials were protected by the First Amendment. The indictment comes as Trump continues to spread baseless claims of widespread voter fraud and election rigging in the 2020 election, despite dozens of courts rejecting his lawsuits and multiple audits confirming Biden's victory. Trump has also hinted at running for president again in 2024, but his legal woes could jeopardize his political future and his influence over the Republican Party.